Dear students, let us talk about alternating current, or in short form AC. Till now we have studied about DC, direct current. In DC, how is the circuit? Basically, you have a battery, you connect it with a resistor. This is the simplest form of a DC circuit. Now in this type of situation, the voltage supply will be constant with the variation of time. AC, the simplest definition is the voltage or current variation with respect to time will not be a constant quantity. It will be varying. This type of variation, it is sinusoidal. Okay, so this is called alternating current. It is alternating between plus minus like that. Alternating means changing. Now sinusoidal basically is a periodic function, but when you talk about alternating current, the current variation need not be periodic also, it can be non-periodic too. So when you take the case of this type of variation, you express voltage V is equal to V0 into sine omega t. This is a sinusoidal variation. Okay, or you can write the, from this only you'll get the, you divide this by R, you get the current. Okay, so I is equal to I0 into sine omega t. Here V0 is the peak value. Okay, it is also called the amplitude. And if you take this A, B, C, D, E, this A, B, C, D, E is called one full cycle. Okay, obviously the time taken for one full cycle, that means here it started and one cycle is completed. These patterns repeat. So the time taken for one full cycle is called time period. When you talk about number of cycles per second, that is in 1 second how many cycles are completed, you say it is frequency, which is measured in cycles per second or hertz. Alternating current, the symbol is shown like this. Whenever you find this kind of a symbol in a circuit, that means you are dealing with AC. Okay, you have a circle and you have a variation saying like this. Alright, now this angular frequency omega, you will get it by this expression 2 pi f or 2 pi by t, because f is equal to 1 by t or t is equal to 1 by f. Normally in India, this frequency of AC alternating current is 50 hertz. Many times it is asked in competitive exams, so remember this value, 50 hertz it is. Now here if you see, if current is passed, if it is passed through an ammeter, it will show the mean value of the current. If you take a circuit and if you take the case of a current passing through the ammeter, in direct current it will directly give you a value which is a constant value, but here in the case of alternating current you get average value. Okay, now if you want to calculate this average value over one cycle, okay, just now I told you ABCD is one cycle. If you want to calculate the value of current in over one cycle, you get, how do you find out means, you have to take the total current and you have to take by divide by total time. It is similar to that, you have a classroom where some 20 students are there and you want to know what is the average marks scored by the candidates, students. What you will do, you will take the total marks and you divide by the total number of students. So here also you want to find the total current means, yeah, what is the basic definition of current? It is a total charge divided by total time taken. So you will find the total charge and you divide by the total time. So integration of 0 to t I dt will give you the total charge, and integration of dt over a period of 0 to t will give you the total time. So by doing this you get the average current which is passing through one cycle. Now here when you take this graph, see at this is the time axis and this is the voltage axis. Okay, at different times you are getting different voltages. Okay, now that means that at a particular time I'll get a particular value. Now that voltage is called instantaneous voltage, or that current is called instantaneous current. Remember these terms. So when you are finding out this average, basically you are summing up all the instantaneous values over that cycle and you are dividing by the total time. Now we have just now found that the time period is 2 pi by omega. Okay, from here omega is equal to 2 pi by t, that means t is equal to 2 pi by omega. So from 0 to t, 2 pi by omega. I value is, I am taking a sinusoidal variation, I0 sin omega t into dt. In the denominator 0 to t, 2 pi by omega dt. This when you integrate you get t, and when you substitute the upper and lower boundaries you get 2 pi by omega in the denominator. Now here you want to integrate this, so what will be the integration of sine? It will be cos. Okay, so and this constant term will come out, it will be divided by, so integration of sine omega t means it will be cos omega t divided by omega, cos omega t divided by omega. Okay, with a minus sign. Whenever you get confusion, you derivate this, you should get this term. Okay, if I derivate this I get omega cos omega sin omega t. If I derivate this, if I do the differentiation of this, I get omega sin omega t, but cos derivation, if derivative is negative, so negative it becomes positive, divided by omega, omega cancel, again you are getting this. Okay, so the integration value will be this much value. So this is what we have to take. It will be I0 by omega with a minus sign here, and you have to put the lower limit and the upper limit. When you do this, all this maths, you finally get the value to be 0. Why? Because when you put in the place of t 2 pi by omega, it becomes cos 2 pi, and when you substitute the lower limit it will become cos 0. It will become cos 2 pi minus cos 0. Cos 2 pi is 1, cos 0 is 1, 1 minus 1 0. So this whole value is becoming 0. Now what is the meaning of that? The meaning of this is that over a one cycle, when you take the average current, it is becoming 0. And why it is becoming 0 means it is perfectly symmetrical. This upper plus value and the lower minus value is absolutely same. So that is why this plus minus is making it 0. So this is one very important point that we have to note in terms of alternating current. If you remember, in our previous chapter we have discussed about magnetic field and all that. The alternating current is developed because of that. You don't need a battery for that. Okay, the generation of alternating current is totally a different concept, but the principles of solving circuits and all that is what we will use. We have learned all this KJL, KVL, all those things will be applicable here also. Only the type of current is different here now. So that means that when we have got that this average current over a cycle it is 0, it means that average voltage over a cycle, the same process if you do, you get voltage also over a cycle, you will find that it is 0. So in order to understand the thing, normally what they do is they take half cycle. Okay, half cycle means only this positive part or only this negative part of one cycle. So here also, if you want to find out the average current, you have to take the total charge for half the time period and what is the total time. So instead of t, you will put t by 2, and you will do the same process again. And when you solve the max part, you basically get 2i0 by pi. See, I0 sine omega t, so the integration of this will be, just now as we discussed, it will be minus I0 by omega cos omega t. Okay, so in the place of t you have to put pi by omega. This becomes cos 180 and minus cos 0. So cos 180 is minus 1 and cos 0 is 1, so it becomes minus 1 minus 1. Alright, so this becomes minus 2, there is a minus outside already, so this becomes 2. Here omega cancels, this becomes 2i0 by pi. This value you should remember. 2 by pi I0 means 0.637 I0. This is the value of average value of current over a half cycle period. Your average value will be 0.637 I0. Okay. Similarly, you can continue the same logic with the case of voltage also. You will get V is equal to 0.637 V0. What is V0? V0 is the maximum voltage and it is the amplitude. Here we often use another term called root mean square current or root mean square voltage value. So in this, basically it is a mathematical thing. What they basically do is they take all the instantaneous current values and they find the square and they add them over a period of one cycle. Like you have I1, I2, I3, I4 like that. So I1 square plus I2 square plus I3 square, so on. What is this I1, I2 and all these things? So here you take one cycle, you will get for particular time t1 you will get I1, for t2 you will get I2, for t3 you will get I3, like that for the whole cycle they will add. So since we have calculus with us, we don't have to add like that physically, we can use the concept of calculus. So how do you do that? It is 0 to t integration I square dt divided by 0 to t dt. So here you will get integration of sine square omega t dt. This is like integration of sine square a dt. So here you have to do a little bit of trigonometry. You know that cos 2x is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square x. So from here 2x means what? Double angle, no? So sine square x is equal to 1 minus cos 2x by 2. In the place of x it is omega t here. Denominator is pretty straight, you get 2 pi by omega. This becomes t, so this becomes 2 pi by omega. Only the numerator part has to be calculated. So here when you do that, so I have just written this formula. What we have got here, 1 minus cos 2x by 2. In the place of x we will put omega t, and we need to solve this integration now. Now for this 2 pi by omega and this 2 is there, when you take it upside it will become omega by 4 pi. Integration, take I0 square inside, I0 square by 2 minus I0 square by 2 into cos 2 omega t. If I am taking this 2 here, I have to write 2 here, not 4. Okay. Now in this step, here it will be 2 pi only, but in this step I am taking 2 outside, so I can write 4 here. So if you take I0 square also common, this will become 1 dt. 1 dt means t dt. When you do the integration it becomes t. Okay. And this is cos 2 omega t. So the integration will be sine 2 omega t divided by 2 omega. So integration of cosine is positive sign, because positive sign when you differentiate you get cosine, right? So you need to put the upper and lower boundaries now. So for putting the upper and lower boundaries, you have to put t is equal to 2 pi by omega. So this will become 2 pi by omega minus, now here you put t is equal to 2 pi by omega. So it is 2 omega t into 2 pi by omega. Omega cancel, it becomes 4 pi. It is sine 4 pi minus sine 0. Sine 0 is 0, sine 2 pi, sine 4 pi, they are all zeros. So you finally get this term to be 0. You are left with only this term. When you simplify that, you get finally I0 square by 2. So IRMS is equal to I0 square by 2. So IRMS is equal to I0 by root 2, which is nothing but 0.707 I0. This value you should remember. Whenever you are given this RMS values, you should be able to calculate I0. Often it happens in such a way that they give you the RMS value and you have to arrive the I0 value. Sometimes they give you the I0 value and you have to arrive at the RMS value in the numericals. Now here, whatever we have done for the current part, the voltage part also remains the same. Even voltage RMS value will be equal to 0.707 V0. Now, usually in our households, this alternating current value, it is 220 volts. So that value is an RMS value. So how do you get V0 value? You need to multiply this value with the root 2. So the actual voltage was 311 and the RMS value obtained is 220 volts. Okay. Now there is another factor called form factor. It is also a definition. Basically it is a ratio of RMS value divided by the average value. RMS value you have just now derived. It is V0 by root 2. You need to put that. And average value is 2V0 by pi. Here we have written for the current, but current and voltage basically same. I told you the values don't change. So it is 2V0 by pi. Okay. When you simplify this, you get 1.11. So the form factor is 1.11. Now, one more point is that this general expression for alternating current, usually it is written as V is equal to V0 sine of omega t plus or minus phi. If you recollect what we have, what you have learned in SHM, okay, it is something similar to that. What is this means? See, alternating current voltage, it will look like this. Okay, if it is starting from 0, there is no phase. But let us say it is starting somewhere else, either on the positive side or on the negative side. Then you need to consider the phase value also. Okay, so this is the most general form of writing this. So in this case, only the phase value is 0. Okay, this is the general expression. Whenever you see some questions, you will find it is written in that format. Next we'll talk about phasors. See, phasor basically are developed to simplify the circuit analysis, to understand the circuits. Okay, they are not real physical entities such as momentum, acceleration, all these things, velocity. They are developed only to simplify the circuit and understanding of the circuit. Usually a AC circuit will have a L component, means an inductor, capacitor and a resistor, or all three, or a combination of 1 and 2. So the circuits become sometimes very complicated. So phasor and phasor diagrams, they help us understand, analyze the circuit easily. Phasors are basically circular vectors, rotating vectors. Okay, they are represented like this. About phasors we will see again in later discussions, but basically if there is a vector, a rotating vector with angular speed omega, so phasors are represented like this. So how much theta it will make? Theta is equal to omega is equal to theta by t, right? Omega is equal to angular displacement by time taken. So theta will be omega t. This is what is written here. So if this phasor diagram is constructed, so we can take the components of this. Okay, we can take a vertical component, we can take a horizontal component. They will give us the sine or the cosine value of that. Suppose this particular alternating current is a sinusoidal curve. So here, by constructing a phasor diagram, I am able to get this vertical vector and thereby the current value at that particular instant of time. Okay, so this is how the phasors are used. But again, I am saying that phasors are not real physical quantities. They are only a helping tool to analyze and understand the circuits in a better way. Now let us see a small concept or an example. It says that show that average heat produced during a cycle of AC is same as produced by a DC with I is equal to IRMS. So here basically you are trying to compare AC and DC. Okay, whenever you talk about AC, you talk normally in terms of RMS currents and RMS voltages. So here where if it is an AC, it is a sinusoidal variation. I is equal to I0 sine omega t. I am assuming that there is no phase. The phi value is 0. Now you want to understand what is the heat produced. If you connect it to a circuit, obviously because of the resistor, there will be some heat produced in the wire. Now how do you get that? So you take a small incremental time dh. You know that this energy is equal to power multiplied by time, right? So we have already done this expression that it will be h is equal to I square r into t. Remember? So what is heat produced here? Basically it is power is equal to heat produced by time. So what is heat? Power multiplied by time. So what is power? It is I square r multiplied by dt. You get the dh value. If you want to get the total value, you have to integrate it. As simple as that. This I value is I0 sine omega t. So this is the expression you get. So if you want to know the average heat produced, it is total heat by total time. So total heat, how you will get? This is a small increment per time dt. You want to get total, you have to integrate it between 0 to t. Okay, and similarly total time also you will get. So you need to plug in that value over here, and t value you know already, it is 2 pi by omega. Remember, whenever you get this type of expression, I0 square r sine square omega t over the full time cycle, this value becomes finally half. This we have done in the previous derivation also. Okay, as a shortcut you can remember, you get I0 square r sine square omega t. This sine square omega t format you get, you have, but the cycle has to be full. You get finally 1 by 2 value. So I0 square r divided by 2, and in the denominator there is 2 pi by omega. So when it yeah 2 pi by omega. So it is I0 by root 2 whole square, I can write it as. So this becomes how much? IRMS is equal to I0 by root 2. So IRMS into r into t it becomes. Okay, this is how it is. So but the meaning of this is that had it been a DC circuit, if it had been a DC circuit, whatever the current is there, you find the RMS value of that particular current. How do you get? If the current value is 1 ampere, you need to multiply with 0.707 and then find the heat produced. It is equivalent to the AC circuit. What I am trying to say is, you have a DC circuit where 1 amp current is flowing. What is the RMS of this value? 0.707 amps. If you take a AC circuit, whatever is the heat produced by this is equal to the heat produced by the AC circuit. Okay, so that's all. And here the total average heat produced and total time. So time is omega, it is divided by time. Okay, so 2 pi by omega by 2 pi. You see here we have derived the expression t is equal to 2 pi by omega. Okay, so 2 pi by omega, you are getting omega by 2 pi. What is omega by 2 pi? Omega by 2 pi, it is 1 by t. Okay, so here you finally check this part, you finally get it in this format. I square RMS R into T. This total heat I have to average heat produced. Just check over this value. We go anywhere wrong here. This is power multiplied by time divided by total time. So total heat I need to multiply with time, no? So heat average will be total heat by total time. Total heat by total time. So just see, you are getting 2 pi by omega here. 2 pi by omega is nothing but time. So finally you get in this format, I square RMS into R multiplied by T. Kindly make a note of these points.